Hello guys and welcome to the Bright Agent. Today we are doing the quadratic formula. So you guys may be wondering what I'm talking about, what the quadratic formula is, and for those who know, you'll actually be wondering what it's used for. I'll be covering both of those topics, so those people in those two groups I've mentioned will not be left out. Now, first of all, we need to understand what the quadratic formula is. Now, the quadratic formula is minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a, and that all equals x. That's the quadratic formula. Once you remember it, you will be able to answer questions that involve solve x when they have all these things. And just note that a, b and c are integers, so you have nothing to worry about. There is no extra work for just integers. Sometimes they might be decimals, and sometimes you might have to solve for any of them. But either way, if you know how to manipulate the formula, so that way it's solve a, b or c, or solve x as per the usual, then you won't have any problem with those questions unless they add extra complicated parts to it. Now let's say I'm analysing motion. The quadratic formula comes useful here because the speed of a projectile, like a ball, depends on other variables as well. For example, air resistance and all that. That's what engineers use. That's what the designers use to make their products better. They don't just they don't just say, oh, this product is good, I find that it's streamlined and we've only worked on it for a few days or something. No, they will have to continually test it to ensure it's of the best quality and it does its job. Now, let's say I did business. If I were going to sell this plank, if the quantity that I sold, for example, I sold 100 planks, depends on the price, then I would have to calculate it using the quadratic formula, since the quantity, of course, heavily depends on the price. Meaning, the quadratic formula is useful because there's several variables needed. For example, what material you use, the time it took, whether there were any variable costs or fixed costs in making the product, etc., etc. That's how businesses just use it for price. Also, when designers are making circuits, I know this isn't a circuit, but whatever. When designers are making circuits, they will use quadratic formula to calculate the resistance. The one that I said about projectiles earlier was actually about people analysing motion, which can be used for space purposes or whatever purposes they may use it for. So essentially speaking, those are only some of the uses people may use the quadratic formula. So next time you see this, don't think it as useless, don't think it as a waste of time, don't think it as something, think it as a learning opportunity to open several doors for you, because one day it might come in handy when you need it. So be bright, stay right, like, comment and subscribe. I will see you in the next video and have a good day.